catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.
I'm going to move the pitch out the way so you can see me. And I'm going to say good evening. How are you? Welcome. Welcome to Storytime, guys. I'm so excited to see you here. I, once again, am Crystal. So I just want to remind you of a couple of things while we're here so we can make sure that you know where you are. So, guys, this is Storytime. You might be saying, what is Storytime? Well, Storytime is where human beings connect. All right, we talk about life experiences. And I'm just going to ask you to do a couple of things for me. I'd like to ask you to like, share, and comment. And I want to let you know, if you have a story, you can share your story too, because without no test, there is no testimony, right? So what we like to do is let people get a chance to share their testimony. Okay, so get ready to hear Mr. Anthony's testimony. And once again, I want to remind you, we just want you to share this with 5 friends right now. If you're already here, all of you right now, say hello in the comments, okay? Just do me a favor. Say, hi, Anthony, I'm here. If you are a man of Southeast Raleigh, if you are his fraternity brother, if you are a family member, say hello. As you come in, say hello and write a comment so we can let him see it and he'll know you're here, okay? And that's how that's going to go. I see right now someone said, good evening, Crystal. How you doing? Miss Kimber, I see you. So you see how I put that on the screen? That's how I do for the YouTube. So we're going to have a good time. So let's get ready to bring our special guest up. Okay, let's get ready to bring our special guest up. We're so excited. Once again, Anthony Pope. I will introduce him to some and present to others. This man that is making a difference in Southeast Raleigh. Anthony, I see you coming, knocking at the door. Are you there?
Hey, how you doing, sister?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. I can't complain at all. Life is good, and I'm just living to just keep on doing what we're doing in the community here.
All right. And I want to say welcome.
Thank you.
Happy holidays to you. Are you ready? Man, can you believe we're almost at Christmas?
I know, right? Time just goes by quickly, I'll tell you. And look, seems like the older we get, the faster time goes by.
Yes.
But it's all good. It is all good.
We're blessed because we're still here.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm just excited to have you here because I was trying to remember something as I was preparing for the show.
Okay.
Do you remember how we met, Anthony, and where we met? Because, I know a lot of people from Raleigh and some people I can remember. I said, when did I meet Anthony? Did Roderick introduce us?
I think they were doing the Easter egg hunt over at St. Augustine's College. I can't remember whether you were there at that event, but it was something associated with St. Augustine's.
Was it St.
And
Albert? Because I remember meeting you and seeing you at the event that Gloria had at Tarboro Center.
yes, okay, that was the first time we met. You're exactly right.
At
Yes, it
Tarboro
was.
Center, and
Yep.
I remember that we had seen each other many places, known
Yes.
of each other, but that's where the name and the face was brought together.
Absolutely. That is exactly where we met. But
Yes.
it's a pleasure to be on your story time, and thank you for selecting me to be a part and share my story.
Well, you know what? There's so many people doing so many things, and I know we're going to talk about what you guys just did recently to acknowledge that. But
Yeah,
there's just
absolutely.
a lot of everybody has a story, right? And
Yes, I
some
do.
we hear and some we don't, right? And I
That's
just feel like it's important that we shine the light on some people. And I see some of your people coming on in. So thank you so much for coming on in. They are letting us know they are here. We got your Cud's in the building.
Okay.
This is Kelsey Walker is in the building. We also have Claudette. Claudette is here. She said, "Great evening, Crystal Anthony, from Chicago. Come on, Chicago." In the
Yes,
building.
that's my good friend. Yeah, absolutely.
We got Connie in the building, former co-worker and Aggie.
Yes.
Okay. So they're coming on in. Okay. Another
Good.
one. What's up, Unc Rodney Ellis? So, family, I love it. I love it. I love it. Keep showing love. Keep showing love. We will continue to acknowledge you as he begins to speak about who you are and how you have impacted his life. So, Anthony,
Yes.
one of the things I like to do when we get started, I always start out because some people know you and some people don't, right?
Okay.
I always start out by asking individuals to tell us who is Anthony. Like, who's Anthony? I mean, and take it back to the good old days, like these days right here. Like, who was this little boy, Anthony? Some people may not remember you from back then.
No, there's a lot of people who probably don't remember
Some
that.
people don't know this little boy right here. They don't know
Yes, that is me. Absolutely. This is a picture that was taken. I was 4 years old, and my mom always put, back then they used to make sure that your face was shiny and, you didn't look all ashy. So she had me all greased up. And
Vaseline back in the day.
Absolutely. That's what worked. And so this picture was taken out in a community that was known as, originally it was called Spring Hill, North Carolina. And that was where my father, his father, he and three of his brothers moved it to that community. And the community was named Spring Hill, North Carolina. Well, we were the first family to move out there. There were 4 Pope brothers and a cousin, and they bought all this land out there which is currently now WRAL television station. And actually WRAL brought the land. We sold them the land for the television station.
Wow.
And so that is where my family lived. All of my daddy's relatives and aunts and uncles and brothers, they lived out there. So later on, the place became known as Nazareth, North Carolina, because the Catholic school built an orphanage out there, which was right across the street from where we had purchased land. And so my ancestors, my great-grandmother and all the ladies, the Pope ladies, they would bring the little orphans over to my relatives, and they would nurse the young people that came to the orphanage.
So it sounds like you have a lot of history here. So that's a blessing. So before we get into the history, because I love it. Because, a lot of times people don't know about history. I love the fact that you shared a lot of pictures. I can't wait to show the slideshow, because when I look at our generation today, these children, the millennials, the Gen X, they are doing everything on their phones. Absolutely. And they don't have the good old photo albums like we did. You know what I mean? They don't have photos around the house. They don't see what we saw. So I'm so happy that you're talking about the history and showing that. But tell me, was you a shy little boy? Where'd you go to school? The type of upbringing you had? Tell us a little bit about Anthony, the little boy.
So from the time that I was born until I went into the first grade, we lived there in Nazareth, North Carolina. And then we moved over to Walnut Terrace, which was one of the early housing projects in Raleigh. And so from the first to the 6th grade, I went to Washington Elementary School, which was right there. I could walk around the block from my house, and actually that's where the school was. So from 1st to 6th grade, that's where we lived. And when I eventually went to middle school, it was called junior high back then. We went to Carnage Junior High, and these were just one of the few historically Black schools where Black kids went. And so we all went to Carnage. And by that time, we had moved over to Ellington Street, which is right off of what used to be Old Smithfield Street. But now it's Martin Luther King Boulevard, right next to Lightner's Funeral Home.
Wow.
And we moved there.
So
Yeah.
wait a minute.
Yeah.
So you bring it back memories for me now, because see, one thing you don't know about me is my family is from Raleigh.
Okay.
I'm not from Raleigh, but my family's from Raleigh. My father went to Washington High, the
Okay.
school that you mentioned. He's
Yes.
actually in the glass case because he was the president of the Washington High alumni. So
Okay.
he's in that case. And then when you talk about Lightner, my granddaddy's house, I don't know how far and how long you've been here, but my granddaddy's house, there used to be houses across from Shaw. There used to be a
Okay.
Coca-Cola company. You remember when the Coca-Cola
Yes.
company
Absolutely.
on that corner across the street? That was my grandfather's house.
Oh, was it really? Okay.
Yeah, and my family was from there. And then my
Yeah.
aunt lived around the corner right there next to Lightner, and they all grew up, you know. So you're bringing back memories when you start to
Yes.
talk about those things, because that's when I used to visit as a child. See, I'm not from here. My
Okay.
family's from here, but I'm the New Yorker, and my family grew up in Chavis, but I didn't.
Yeah.
So
And I
you're-
lived there too. Lived in Chaviside as well.
wow.
Yeah.
So you're bringing up so many. But I got to tell you, you got some family checking in. Your family is here. Your cousin is here.
Okay.
That's is that Fredero? The cousin is here, and then we have also. I just want to let you know who's in here right now.
Okay.
Corey
Hello.
Lewis is here. Corey Lewis says, "Congratulations, Pope, from their fraternity brother."
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my friend.
Patty Richardson is here from Maryland.
Okay.
We got
Wow.
Mamie Carlton is here. Also, she
Good
says,
friend.
"Hey, Pope." And your cousin said, "Oh, so cute," when she saw the picture. That's coming from Kimber. She said, "Wow."
All right.
Gloria Cherry's here. So they're in here. Thank you guys for being here. And
Yes,
I can
absolutely.
tell your family is a close-knit family.
Yes.
Pope,
Thank you,
now,
family.
the families are not like that anymore. You know,
No, it's not.
coming up in your days, I'm sure everybody knew everybody. The neighbors knew everybody,
Absolutely.
right?
Yep. And so
So
in
you
our
guys-
community, in our community where we grew up in Monterey's, everybody's parents were your parents. You respected them. Everybody looked out for everyone in the community. You know, you could go to your neighbor's house and borrow a cup of sugar or a stick of butter. That's how it was back then.
Yes.
And you respected your elders, and we all lived. And see, the projects, when you think about it, people think about, you know, you got these high-rise buildings. This was where family was actually close-knit. Everybody in the community, in that Wanna community, knew each other. They took care of each other's kids. We respected them, and you dare not disrespect an adult back during that time.
Okay. Or the babies
Yes.
and elderly, they were respected, right?
That's
Let
exactly
me
right.
ask you, was all your people born in St. Agnes?
Yes, for the most part. I definitely was born there. My mom, I'm not sure where my mother was born, but yes, I was born in St. Agnes. My sister and most of the friends and relatives in my age range, we were all born in St. Agnes Hospital.
Okay.
And I can tell you what happened. My mother was getting ready to go to the fair because this was in October, and she was getting ready to go to the fair, and she went into labor and actually ended up going to the hospital instead. So for all of my teen years, going to the fair was my birthday present.
Wow, that's amazing. What a way to remember the fair. Wow.
Absolutely.
So, Anthony, let me ask you something. When you were
Yes.
a little boy, elementary, middle, high school, was you active then? Was you quiet little boy? Was you a dreamer? Was you somebody? Did you sit back and say, you know, one day I want to be a big community leader? What did you want to be when you were little? When you said,
Okay, Crystal, I was never quiet. I was always that kid that was doing something. I was always moving. You know, back then it wasn't called ADHD or hyperactivity. It was like, boy, go somewhere and sit down. You're doing too much. But no, I was always a very outgoing, personable young kid. And I loved just and was always into something. My mother said I would always entertain myself. I didn't need anybody. But
Wow.
I grew up in a family where we were interactive and we talked and we, you know, just enjoyed each other's company. And so
Wow.
that's what I've always been around. So no, quiet was never in my repertoire of things that was
Okay.
going on in my life.
So what is it about the upbringing that you feel as though that helped you become the man you are today? Because
You know-
today children don't have the upbringing we had. So what is it that you remember that helped to shape you to be the man you are today?
My family has a lot of women in the family, more so than men, but I had uncles and I had people from the community that everybody was your uncle or your grandmother may have been somebody that lived across the street. And so all of these people embraced us, and they made sure that we learned that we respected adults and we respected anyone that was in a position of authority. And so they enforced that in us. And so with that being said, you never got out of line back then because you knew the consequences of doing that. So that is what has reared me. My mother and my father were very instrumental in my life as well. My mom, I was a mom's boy, and I have no problem admitting that. My mother would make sure that we were always respectable. We were always, well fed and dressed and whatever needed to be done. And so I miss her. In fact, I live in the house that she actually lived in. I renovated her home. And this house that I'm living in now was built in 1906. She moved here in 1984, and I've been living in her home for the last 13 years. And so all of the memories are still here, and her presence is still here as well.
Wow. So I know that my parents' home is still here, and I know a couple people who did that, and I just always felt like I would have to rent it out. I just can't do it. I just personally can't do it. So I commend you for being able to do that,
Yes,
stay in the
absolutely.
home. That is amazing. You
Yeah.
have a lot of family here. So you know what? I think before we get started, I would love to show the slideshow because family, let me tell you
Okay.
something. He has some pictures for you guys, and some of you may be in the pictures, and I think it would be a great time to do that because
Absolutely.
I think family is so important. And kudos to your mom. So let's take
Yeah.
a moment and pause. Ladies and gentlemen, while you're here, make sure you let somebody know you're here. Share, subscribe to the channel. And once again, we thank you for being here. But I want you to check this out because we're going to talk about it. But I want you to see now, Anthony, I always go and get a few extra
I'm
that
sure
you
you
don't
did.
know about. Just to,
Uh,
I like to surprise my guests a little bit, So sit back and
Okay.
you enjoy too.
uh, Yeah, you did go back and pull out a few extra pictures.
Yeah, that I was surprised. I didn't know you rode bikes and did all that. I was like, see,
Yeah.
you
We,
never
me,
know about people. You know what I'm saying? So I
absolutely.
said, okay. And Ebenezer's a good buddy of mine.
Oh, that's my run. That's my road partner right there. That's my
Yeah,
riding
we go
partner.
way back from St. Aug. That's
Yes.
my people right there. You
Okay.
know. So do you have children, Anthony?
I do. I have two sons. My sons are 17 and 12, 18 and 12. And I have two daughters. These are my stepdaughters. They are 48 and 49. Can you believe that?
Wow, that's a
So,
blessing. That's a blessing to say we have that. Now, you made a comment before we went to that, and you
uh,
said, I'm proud to be a mama's boy.
yes,
Proud to be a
absolutely.
mama's boy. That's not a bad thing, to
No,
have love for mama, to have appreciation for mama. Nowadays we don't see enough where people honor and respect their
yes,
parents. So if that's something that when you and the men go out there, I know that you do a lot in the community. You're a leader in so many different places. And let's talk about that. And then I want to find out if that's something that you teach the men when you go out to the men. If that's something you teach them how to respect and honor the elders and the people at home, because a lot of them don't have someone at home teaching them that.
absolutely. But these men, most of them are we're all in the same age range. Most of us were born and raised here in Southeast Raleigh. We grew up together. Before they started integration in the public school systems, we all went to the same school. We went to Washington. Most of us went to Carnegie, and Liggum was the only black high school back then. So we've known each other for years. There are other guys that are in the organization that are not from Raleigh, but they saw what we were doing in the community and they wanted to be a part of it. So right now we've got about 85 men. We started out with 2. First meeting, we had 20 guys to show up. The next meeting, we had 12 guys. And so we're now up to about 85 men. And all of these men are well respected. And so, no, I didn't have to teach them anything because they grew up under the same conditions that I did. You respected your elders. You always looked out for your siblings. You did whatever you need to do in the community to help out. And so that's why we are doing what we're doing now, because that was instilled in us when we were young kids, when we were teenagers growing up in the community. And so
Well, I actually meant the children that y'all, because I know
the children,
you mentioned some children, right?
yes, absolutely. Oh, yeah. So most definitely, when we go into the community, we work with young people. Before we even start working with them, there are some ground rules that we set. You must be respectable, you must listen, and you must participate, because we try to pull these young people that are shy to really get them in a place where they are comfortable speaking and they're comfortable sharing with you. Because a lot of kids now, they are isolated because of this social media and all this stuff, and they spend a lot of time on their phones or they spend a lot of time looking at TV. We want to teach these young people how to be interactive, but we also want them to have those character traits of being respectable, being kind, not bullying, those things that really are issue within the school system and within some of our communities nowadays.
Now, Anthony, before you got out here and did stuff in the community, I understand you put some years in the classroom. You're a retired
Absolutely.
educator.
Yes.
What did you teach and what level did you teach at?
So I started out teaching school in 1979. That was my first year of teaching. I started out teaching middle school, but I was also coaching at the high school. I was a health and physical education teacher. And so when I started teaching, I started out as a homeschool coordinator, back then they used to call them truant officers. So I used to go in the community and look for those kids that were playing hooky from school. And from there, the next couple of years, the next 10 years, I actually taught health and physical education at the high school level, middle school, and elementary school. But I also coached. I coached football, basketball, track, wrestling. And so from that, I taught a lot of young people the things that they needed to do to be successful in sports, but more importantly, academically. And that's what I always held them accountable for. You can't play unless you have the grades. So yeah, I spent 42 years as an educator in various avenues. I taught at Job Corps for a while. I was also an administrator there. My last 16 years were with the community college system. I did 13 years with Vance Granville Community College. And the last 3 years, I was with Wake Tech Community College, where I retired from.
Wow.
So education has been my lifelong history in terms of employment.
Yeah. So, what level did you enjoy and find to be most rewarding? Because working with adults can be rewarding too.
Yes.
So,
Well,
which level was it that really Job Corps, in the school system, or the adults?
so you know what? Actually, Job Corps was probably the one that I enjoyed the most. And the reason I say that, a lot of those young people that came to Job Corps, they were given up on. It's like, okay, there's no other options for you, so we're sending you to Job Corps. So it was always looked upon as being where all the bad kids, the kids that were problems in school, would actually end up. But what I found out is they were actually really smart kids. They were just different. They learned differently from other kids, and the school system never could really accommodate that. So
Wow.
they became an issue for people in the public schools because the schools were overcrowded anyway. So we don't have time to deal with little Johnny over here because he's got these behavior problems. But what it was is that little Johnny learned a little differently. But we took the time and we nurtured those young people and we saw them blossom. So that was probably the most rewarding 8 years. I taught there at Job Corps for 8 years. I was a counseling manager, but I was also a transition specialist when they actually left the program. And so when you saw the difference in those young people when they came there, as opposed when they left, it was a total transformation. And I appreciate my years at Job Corps.
Wow. You know
Yes.
what? I'm seeing that same blinking that we saw earlier, but I know it's not showing on the screen, but I'm seeing it. I think it must be the actual software that's doing it because I'm
Okay.
seeing it and I'm praying that it doesn't cause anything, but I have a backup over here just in case. But now let me ask you this. Teaching
Hmm.
is not the same. I taught also, and I
Oh,
got
did
out
you?
of it quickly. I mean, on different levels. I was by let me see for Connie is
Uh,
1988. So by 1988, I got out of it because I said, no, I can't do this. These children are not the same. They're
it
not the
is.
same. They're just not the same. And I was teaching in Brooklyn, then I
Oh my goodness.
in the Bronx. Yeah, and then I said no when I left St. Aug.
Right.
But let me ask you this: do you see the difference now in the education system? Because a lot of times now people don't have the patience that you had. Some people are there
Absolutely.
for a paycheck. What
Yeah.
what do you think the school system is missing now? Because these children really need it now more than anything.
It is. You know what? The school system is totally different from the time that I was teaching. But what we had back during that time, Crystal, we had a lot of men, black men that taught in the school system. And so therefore you were taught from the early years all the way up through high school, you were taught by these men that nurtured us and taught us the things that you're supposed to do as a young man growing up in the community. And that's the difference now. You rarely have black men in the school system. Very few. But it's totally different from now. I don't know if I would even venture back into teaching in this day and time because things are so different.
Hmm.
The young people back then were well disciplined because they were taught that way. It's a totally different scenario now, and it's kind of challenging for students as well as for teachers, especially
Yeah.
for teachers, because sometimes parents are not supportive. And
Yes.
unfortunately, teachers are kind of just out there trying to maintain order and keep everything, keep discipline in the classroom. And so a lot of time is being spent on that as opposed to teaching and training these young people the way they should come up. And it starts at home.
Yes,
So
it does.
whatever they see at home is transferred to the school system. And it's
So
unfortunate.
so then you retired, you were
Yeah.
sitting back doing what you were doing, and then of course we'll talk about your brotherhood because I know you're Omega Psi Phi also. But I
Yeah.
would like to know these men here. You the founder of the Men of Southeast Raleigh?
I am. I'm one of the co-founders.
One of the
Yes, I'm one of the co-founders, and currently my position is community program coordinator. So anything that we do in the community, I kind of coordinate those events to make sure that the men are aware of what we're doing, and I send this information out to them. And so from that, and we're strictly a volunteer organization. We're not a 501c. We're just a group of men, like-minded men, who came together on June 25th of 2021 for the sole purpose of sowing back into the community in which we grew up in. And so that's
Wow,
what we do. Yeah. And so
wow.
these guys, the majority of those guys you see on that picture are from Southeast Raleigh. But as I stated, there are other men that are not even from Raleigh, but they saw what we were doing and they wanted to join in, and we welcome them with open arms.
So what I'd like you to take a moment to do for those who may not have heard of the Men of Southeast Raleigh, is take a moment to just tell the people, first of all, how did it come about as a co-founder?
Yeah.
How did this come about? Number one, with you and the co-founder, was it a conversation one day? I mean, did something happen? And then a little bit about the mission and the goal of the organization.
Yeah, something happened. All right. I had just retired. I retired in May of 2021. And my objective was just to sit back and relax for a year, enjoy life and travel and do this and that. But there was this young lady who I grew up with named Joni Craven Jeffries. And Joni came to me probably in April and said, hey, look, we need to start a men's group. We need to do this. And I'm like, Joni, look, honey, I just retired. Can I just enjoy life? And she kept on. She kept on. And it's like finally her brother and myself got together and said, okay, she's pretty persistent. And for those people that know Joni, she doesn't give up easily. So Joni actually was the one that encouraged us to start this group. So we sent out some fillers in the community, got a good response. The first meeting, we had 20 men to show up. The second meeting that we had in July, we had another additional 12 men. And from there, when we met every month, there were men joining every month to the point that it is now that we have 85 men. And so the mission of our organization is to connect, collaborate, and partner with schools, churches, agencies, individuals, anybody who is in Southeast Raleigh, in our Southeast Raleigh community that needs help with their projects, they need help with things that they're doing. We are here to partner with them. We advocate for our community because our communities have changed. Everything in Southeast Raleigh, which was the predominantly Black area of the city, everything has been gentrified pretty much now. So our objective is to share our time, talents, and resources to sow back into our community. But the main thing is that we saw that our history and our legacy was being threatened. And when I say threatened, they were trying to erase our history. So we came together with the objective of saying, you know what? This is our community. We were here way before people wouldn't even come to this part of town, that, you know, because they considered this a rough part of town. So when we saw that the changes that were being made, we felt that it was time to do something to preserve our history and our legacy. And this is what we did. We came together for that sole purpose. Since that time, we have about 80 community partners that we have worked with in some capacity over the last 4 years. 2026 will be our 5-year anniversary, and we are going to celebrate that because we have done a lot in the community since that initial meeting that we had on June 25th of 2021, right in the middle of the pandemic, to be exact.
Yes.
And we're still going strong. We still have people that are joining. We welcome any man that wants to be a part of what we're doing. We welcome them to be a part of the organization. But we share our time, talents, and resources to sow back into our community. And we advocate for our Southeast Raleigh community.
So you have a website here. I see Men of Southeast Raleigh. It says that men of courage, confident, and class. I love that.
That's right.
I'm looking at the website now. It says the Men of Southeast Raleigh are men of courage, confident, and class. And you held your first meeting 2021, pretty much what you said. And you're about the advocating, supporting of the Black communities. And I look forward, because 2026, I look forward to us collaborating and doing something for sure. And then I see on the website that it starts out by saying also you list some of your community partners. What did it take to be a community partner with you guys?
So what we do is people have now, they know who we are. So they come to us and what they say is, look, I've got this project going on and I need help with this. So there's a list of what you're showing now is a list of all the community agencies and organizations that we have partnered with over the years. And so that it's just that simple. That it's not a process of filling out an application. If it's something that we can do to help uplift our community, we're going to jump on the bandwagon. We've done a lot of things. We go into the school system and work with the Partner Read program. We go over and help out with Oak City Cares, which is the shelter for people that are displaced and may not have a place to live. We work together with advocate on things such as taxes in our community, taxation, people that are being displaced because of the high taxes and they can't afford the rent in this area or even afford to pay for housing in this area. So we advocate. We have committees, and these committees are broken down to address any issue that may come up that we have to deal with. We have a social action committee. We have a policies and procedures committee. We have community organizations committee. Whatever is needed, we have a committee for it. And the men choose whatever they choose to do. We don't say, well, you need to do this over here. We do have some signature projects that we do. But for the most part, the men select what they want to be involved in. And we do enough that every man has the opportunity to be involved in something. You can't say, I don't have anything to do because you're not doing what I do. We're involved in every aspect of our community.
Wow. And I see that you have a page here where someone can go to. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's Men of Southeast Raleigh. Men of Southeast Raleigh, get involved. I'm going to actually put that in here for you so you can
please
actually
do.
see it.
And our website is menofsoutheastraleigh.com.
Mm-hmm. But if they want to if you want to get involved, I see you have a particular page where they can go to.
Absolutely.
So I want to put that up there, menofsoutheastraleigh.com. If you want to get involved, okay. If you want to get involved, there's a page where it says get involved. If you want to join, is there age group, Anthony?
No, there's not an age limit. We take young men as we want them to be at least 18. So 18 to however. We have young men in the organization. Most of us are in our mid-60s. And our oldest member is 86 years old, Mr. Joseph Holt. And Mr. Holt, he is well known in the Oberlin area, which is one of our historically Black communities as well. Brother Holt is actually involved with us.
Wow. And I know that you mentioned to me that there's so many people that give back and participate, but you said there's a certain group of men that are always there. I want to give you the opportunity to give them their flowers. You said they're just a group of men that's always there. They never miss opportunities. So I'll definitely give you a chance to go ahead and speak out to them, or give you a moment just to say any words that you'd like to say to any of your sponsors or any of the people who have just always been supportive or community partners. So I'll allow you to do that now.
Absolutely. I don't want to start calling names because I don't want to miss anyone. But I tell you, there's a core group of men, and there's about 25 to 30 of these men that it doesn't matter what we're doing, they're always going to be there. Sometimes they show up to things that we're not even engaged in, and they'll show up for that. And so I appreciate the men because, like I said, we're a volunteer organization. They don't have to do anything, but they show up. And so we want to get all of our men involved. And I know, some of the men are still working and they have families. And so we don't require a lot in terms of your time. You pick and choose what you choose, want to do to help us out with the events and projects that we have going on. But as I stated previously, there's something that everybody can do because we're involved in enough that's going on in the community.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So let me ask you this. Is there like a time, January's coming up, is there a particular time where you do like recruiting or where you do registration for new members?
No, we're recruit all the time. Whenever we're out at an event, we're sharing what we do. And from that, men say, hey, look, I want to be a part of it. To give you a prime example, at the gala that we had on last Saturday, there were at least 6 men that came up to me after the gala and said, hey, I want to be involved with what you have going on. So we meet the first Sunday of every month, normally at Chavis Heights Community Center. And by the way, Chavis Heights is our adopted center through the City of Raleigh Parks and Recreation. And so we meet there and we talk about things that preview things that we've done for the previous month, but also things that we have coming up. And so men are welcome. It's an open meeting. We invite men to come and be a part of that, to join us, and there's no requirements. The only requirement is that you're willing to come in and help us to support our community and also the projects that we do in our community.
Now, there's a group of women that kind of work side by side with you. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Tell us about the group of women that work side by side with you.
So this same young lady that kept on badgering me about starting this organization or being co-founder of this organization, she has an organization now called the Women of Southeast Raleigh. So they are our sister organization. And so we will be working with them on various projects. They always involved in what we're doing anyway. But you know what? They are our greatest supporters. So anytime that we need anything, we can always depend on these ladies to show up. And Joni is kind of the head of that organization, but she has a great group of ladies that work with her and they support us. We support them. And as we continue to grow, we're going to be doing some things together. But it's just amazing how this organization has branched off into other organizations. But what I really want to emphasize is that we have all these different organizations, but if we came together and worked together, we would get a whole lot more done because we're all better together. So I'm soliciting that as organizations that are out there, you have organizations doing this here and this, but if we combine our forces and our efforts, we get a lot more done in our community. because there's strength in numbers.
That is so true. That is so true.
Absolutely.
Together we are better.
That's exactly right.
Together we are better, for sure. Now, you also pledged a fraternity. Talk to me about that right there, because I know
Yes, I
that's
did.
an important part of you too.
And you know what? That's been 1978. That has been 40 years ago, almost 50. Well, almost 50 years coming up. Yes, I pledged Omega Psi Phi fraternity, which is the greatest fraternity in the world. Now, there will be people out there that will beg to differ with me, especially my nephew is on. He's a Kappa, but he's all right. I ain't got no problem with him. But yes, so we are a service organization. And actually, I'm involved with the national office of our fraternity because I was involved in one of the local chapters here. But when I started the Men of Southeast Raleigh, I needed to have that time to do things in the community. So the purpose of what Omega does and what we do is the same mission. We're just working exclusively in our Southeast Raleigh community. So shout out to all the brothers, Rue, and we're going to continue to do that. But Omega has been very instrumental in my life in helping me to be nurtured by men of like minds. In fact, my high school football and track coach was an Omega man, which encouraged me to become an Omega man. And he also went to A&T, and that is the only school I applied for when I was going off to college. And I did that because of his encouragement.
Okay, so we heard that pride come up there. There's nothing like going to them HBCUs.
That's right. You know it, girl.
That all the time, definitely. So fraternity, community,
yes,
family. When you're not doing all of these things, Anthony, but I saw you ride bikes, you travel. What do you love to do most when you're not doing all these things?
Just what you said. I love traveling. About 4 years ago, I actually became involved with a travel group out of Woodbridge, New Jersey called Black Sense Entertainment. And I actually didn't realize at the time, but the founder of that organization is also a fraternity brother. And so he's been in business about 27 years now. And we travel. We travel all over the world. I've been traveling with them for the last 4 years. I've been to Dubai and Cairo, Egypt, and Rome, and Paris, and London, and Amsterdam, Costa Rica. Just recently got back from Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia. And so twice a year, I try to take a trip out of the country because I want to learn other cultures and see how other people live. And that has been a blessing. I didn't get to travel that much when I was a child. You know, you went to the mountains or you went, somewhere local. But traveling has become my passion now.
Yes.
And even to the point that I'm now a rep for the travel agency. So I share the trips that we are doing with other people, and they join in with us. So we continue to grow. We have a group of about 200 people that travel with us. So when we go, we take over. We have a great time, but it has opened my eyes to a lot of things that I otherwise would have not been exposed to. And so I enjoy that.
I'm the same way. I travel just like too. I love it too. Have you been to Greece?
I have been to Greece. Yes, we did. When we did Paris, when we did Rome in Italy, we did the Greek Isles. We did Santorini, Turkey, Ephesus, Capri, all of the Greek Isles. We did a cruise while we were on that trip. Yeah, so it has been amazing. And I have really enjoyed my travels and the people that I travel with.
Have you been to Santorini? Did you do Santorini?
Yeah, yes, we did. We actually did Santorini.
What about that? The
black sand?
That look of the whole city being the same. That just blew my mind. That was
it's amazing. Yes, and what blew my mind was the black sand because of the volcano and the eruptions. The sand is actually black, but it is beautiful. And I've so thoroughly enjoyed my travel time with the people that I travel with. So look, that's another thing you guys and ladies can get involved in. Come travel with us. Yes. We're out in the country twice a year, but we also do trips within the country as well. So you have a selection of about 8 trips that you can do a year.
Yes, that's exactly right. I didn't know we had that in common because that's what I love to do.
Yes, absolutely.
I love to help people travel because, first of all, we work, we raise children.
Yes.
And, we pay bills and we did all that. And then people sit around, Anthony, I know people who've never left the zip code. And I'm like,
exactly, right.
And don't want to.
No.
There's some that don't want to. And I don't try to push it on, but I'll be like, but you deserve this. You do
absolutely.
So yeah, I'm glad you're doing it because I love it too. I
Yeah.
haven't been to Thailand. That's where I want to go next. I have a friend of mine that moved from Raleigh that lives there now.
Oh, okay.
So
Good.
that's gonna be nice.
It is. It is great. Thailand's like a little New York. People never go to sleep. They're in the streets all times of the night. And
Mhm.
Singapore is probably the cleanest, safest city in the world. I
Wow.
mean, it's just amazing.
Now, so a lot of people don't do the research when they're traveling to really find out because right now a lot of people are afraid because of what's
Yes,
happening. You do have
absolutely.
to do research. So if you're going to travel, make sure you have someone that is helping you because there are some things you need to know in regard to places to go and not to go and
Yes,
what to take with you when you travel. So there is an art to it. There's
it is.
definitely
It
art to
is.
it.
Yeah.
Definitely want to do that. Now, this last Saturday,
Hmm.
I want to say congratulations, man. Congratulations on this
Thank you.
collaboration you did with Dion and the Black Chamber of Raleigh. I put that
Yes,
in the actual slideshow, man. Wow.
absolutely.
I'm in Tennessee right now, so I couldn't be there, and I wanted to be there so much.
Oh my goodness.
My
It
new
was amazing.
will be 1 month tomorrow, and
Hmm.
I wound up being here after my car accident. But I saw the pictures, I see the videos,
Yes.
I still see the post, and talk to us about how that felt and what that night was like. For those who didn't go, what happened on that night?
Oh
What
my
did they miss?
goodness. So this gala has been in planning for, and we didn't have that long to plan, probably for about 4 or 5 months. We started back in July. One of our guys, Tyrone Everett, uh, kind of spearheaded this because it was a request that the people that come to our annual picnic that we have every year, they requested, hey, why don't you guys do something like a gala for Christmas? Didn't give it much thought, but Tyrone kind of saw the vision and jumped on the bandwagon. Tyrone kind of spearheaded this, started out the planning, happened to walk in the self-help credit union one day and ran into Dion, and she said, hey, look, we're planning on doing a gala. And I was like, hey, why don't we partner on that? And that's how we became connected with the Black Raleigh Chamber. She said, I just started this organization. Let's pull together and pool our resources. And that's what we did. Tyrone, unfortunately, passed a few months, about a month within to the project. And so as a tribute to him, we kind of picked up the banner and continued to move forward with the planning of the event. And so it came off without a hitch, had a complete sellout of the venue that we were at. And the support from the community, particularly Southeast Raleigh community and the city of Raleigh overall, was overwhelming. People were dressed. This was a black tie formal event. It was just great to see all age groups, all generations, all backgrounds, just people enjoying themselves, celebrating and honoring those people that have been instrumental and impactful in our Southeast Raleigh communities. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And I have enjoyed it so much. And people are still talking about it. This was our first one. And so from that, we'll continue to do this event to celebrate our community and those people that have been entrepreneurs and trailblazers and, whatever we need, we're going to honor those people in our community.
Unmute myself.
Okay,
That is
yes.
definitely, y'all did an amazing job. Shout out to the Black Chamber,
Thank
Dion,
you.
for everything they did with
Yes,
with
absolutely.
the collaboration, and to
Yes,
all the sponsors. How important are sponsorships? Sometimes people don't realize how important sponsorships are.
absolutely. They're extremely important because these are the people that they have caught the vision that you see, and they invest their monies to make sure that they advertise. Because the event was also a networking opportunity. It was an opportunity to share what your business is, but to also network and meet other people that are doing things that may be similar or totally different. And so, yes, sponsorship was important. We had some major signature sponsors. We had More Realty. We had the Advanced Health. We had North Hills Limousine Services. We had about 8 major sponsors, and then we had some VIP sponsors as well. And so we are just so grateful for the people that have supported this event, for the couples, for the individuals, just for people jumping on the bandwagon and supporting this. It has been overwhelming, and it has been a tribute to our Southeast Raleigh community that we believe in our community, and we're going to advocate and make sure that our history and our legacy is never erased. You may not remember everybody, but you're going to remember this part of town. That's for sure.
And that's a blessing because we need it. We need to uplift
Absolutely.
each other. What I
Yes, we do.
saw the most was the support, people uplifting one another, the positivity, and it's a testament to
Yes.
the Southeast Raleigh, to the men of Southeast Raleigh. We need you, brothers. We need men.
Yes.
We need the
Well,
men
you
to
know what?
stand up and come up. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much for
Absolutely.
that.
And we,
And the ladies coming together. I look forward to. Gloria told me about the ladies group. Look forward
yes.
doing some things with them, and
Yes.
it's amazing. So what's going on what's the plan for 2026? Any
All
big
right.
plans?
2026 is going to be the same thing. We're going to continue to support those organizations that need help. But one of the main things that we're pushing for in 2026 is this tax disparity. We have finally been pushing this tax issue in our community because, first of all, we're overtaxed. You know, when it comes to Black property, when it comes to selling, it's always undervalued. But when it comes to taxation, we're always being overtaxed. And so we addressed that issue. Rob Stevens, who is also part of the Poor People's Campaign, Rob has kind of jumped on that initiative along with Hudson Vaughn, who works for the North Carolina Housing Coalition. And as a result of their work, of the work that we put in and going before the legislators and, you know, bringing people in the community together to help them with tax appeals and tax waivers, in Southeast Raleigh alone, we have saved about 75 families over $500,000 in taxes. And within the triangle, we have a group called the Alliance of Rooted Communities from Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. And we're all experiencing the same things in our Black communities. So from that alliance, we have addressed the issues of taxation. And we have an alliance called the Alliance of Rooted Communities. And it's from the triangle area. From the triangle area, we have saved in taxpayers from underserved neighborhoods almost $4 million in taxes, whether it's through tax waivers or whether it's through tax appeals. We have gotten that done, and we're continuing to move forward with that. That is going to be one of our major projects going into 2026. And we've been so persistent about it that finally they have taken this issue to the North Carolina legislature. And I was looking at the TV last week, and they have brought this up in the legislature. So they are listening to what we're saying, and we're making progress. But we definitely are seeing that it is a problem. There's been this tax disparities for years. It's not something that just started. It's not just here in North Carolina. Wherever you go into a major metropolitan area, even the small rural areas, you're going to find that as Black property owners, we are always overtaxed, and we always undervalued when it comes to our property. And we see it every day. So we're going to continue to push that in addition to affordable housing. That's another issue that we're addressing now as well. We're making progress. People may not see it, but if you go out and read some of the articles about taxation, we've got the ear of the person who works in the tax office, and he has actually done assessments in several Black communities here in Raleigh, Biltmore Hills, Idlewood, those areas, and found out the things that we were saying, that we are overtaxed compared to these properties they're building in our communities.
Now that's amazing. I mean, that's good stuff. So are y'all going to have like informational meetings or anything like that? And I see that somebody said undervalued and overtaxed.
Overtaxed.
All right?
That's right. That's exactly what happens.
I mean, so is there some accountants in there with you guys, and you have different people probably in real estate and all that? So will y'all start to have some workshops? I would love it if you want to. You have an invite if y'all want to do something publicly through the platform. I would love us to do something
absolutely.
Like a monthly educational empowering thing.
Okay. Yeah, we would love to do. We would love to do that, Crystal. Yeah. We do have community forums where we bring the community together. We started out, and I think the first meeting we had about 10 people. The word spread, and we had a community meeting that brought about 100 people from the community together that had the same issue that we were addressing. So we will continue in 2026 to have those community meetings. And we actually have a team of lawyers. We have people that are social workers, people that work in real estate that are familiar with, taxation in our communities. They work with our community to help them do tax appeals and tax waivers, because for the older generation, it's quite challenging because everything's done with technology. And a lot of the older generation don't really know how to use that. So we bring them together, and we actually sit down with them at a computer and help them do the tax appeals and tax waivers. And it has worked. And I'm a prime example. Here at my mother's property, when she bought this property in 1986, her taxes were $400. The tax bill now is $4,600. I was able to do the tax waiver and get my taxes cut in half by almost $2,000, which makes a big difference. And so that's what we want to teach our community to do, how to do these tax appeals and these tax waivers without getting frustrated, because that's what they would like to see, get frustrated and give up and just pay the taxes. And that's not what we want. We want to make sure that people that are qualified for these tax waivers and tax appeals, that they actually get the services or the treatment they need in terms of getting the taxes lower.
And you're right, because you know what? Before the gentrification started, there was so many family homes that got taken away because young adults didn't know what to do with it. And you know, so many people are fortunate to pass things. I know my dad, he sold like 2 or 3 houses. He didn't want the headache. And so I was like, dang, I wish he would told me.
Exactly.
You know? Yes. So we do have to have more conversations.
Yes, we do, Crystal.
I have someone that I know in my family right now that inherited some property, and the valuable lesson I'm seeing with them is that property wasn't necessarily kept up. So one of the things I would like to also suggest that is spoken about in these meetings is keep the properties up, because when you do pass it on, it could be a burden. If it's not kept up, you know, it could be. Not everybody is financially able to keep up with it or to do the fixer-uppers. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of different conversations that need to happen.
It is, and one of the most important things is that keep the taxes paid on them, because you have people that all they do is sit at a computer and wait to see when a property has gone into tax foreclosure, and they get a lot of our property because we don't pay the taxes. So the younger generation has to understand you got to pay the property taxes, and you got to keep your property up. And so that is one of the main things that we need to do.
And they don't look like us. A lot of them that get them first, they position themselves in such a way that they get them before we do. And sometimes, unless you have that disposable income, they have a system where they really trying to keep us from getting it. They're trying to keep us from learning about it first. So we do have to educate and empower each other, because a lot of times we don't know. And you know, as we get ready to try to close, I appreciate you for sharing that, because I thank you so much. So that's good stuff. And again, if you want to find a way to expand that, that's why I said I'm happy to talk to you about a collaboration on that point.
Yes.
Social media is good because, I mean, we do Zooms and stuff, but when we start to do something like this, and we can really take it out globally to different cities and states, because sometimes there might be somebody that wants to see it that's not in North Carolina.
Absolutely.
Like the family members that are here from Maryland, everywhere, they could get it. You understand what I'm saying? Imagine if we could broaden it out that way to be able to reach the masses globally. You know, I have
we definitely
for me from Thailand and Vietnamese and you know, all these places. And I'm saying that we could reach our family members that are not local.
Absolutely.
You know? And
so let's collaborate on that and make sure we make that happen. Yeah. And one other thing I like to share concerning that, we are trying to get together and put together land banks and land acquisitions so that we can acquire property in our community, so that these developers won't come in and just scoop up our property and give us $50,000 or $60,000, and then the next thing you know, they're tearing it down and building these high-rise buildings. So we want to set up land banks and learn how to acquire land so we can hold on it in our communities.
Thank you, Ms. Kim, for that. Definitely, and not only like, but subscribe too. Thank you, Ms. Kim, for that message. Ms. Kim said, please like. Is Ms. Kim someone who works with you?
She is, Dad. She does. She works with us. She's awesome.
She's rooting. And Claudia said, wow. Claudia said, wow, there's something that you were saying. See, a lot of time people, do you know how many people who probably could have saved? Like, I have to tell you, like my aunt, my grandmother's sister's house is right there, 3 houses down from Megan, right on Lenore Street. And I was like, dang, when they sold that, I wish I would have realized. I said, and I sometimes say to myself, dang, I wish my dad and I would have told me.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I was living here. I was like, why didn't they tell me? Because I would have grabbed it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I realized after that and then when I saw the gentrification, I go through it, I'm like, dang, I
Yeah.
could have had that.
And it happens all the time. You would be surprised, Crystal, of property that was sold for $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. And then these developers or investors come in and they use the same foundation, but they
Yep.
go up on it and they end up selling it for $400,000, $500,000, $600,000. Yeah, absolutely. And it happens all the time. We have got to hold on to family property. It is valuable. We've got to pay the taxes. We've got to keep it up. And, we need to make sure, and there's always little loopholes, Crystal, that's used. For instance, here at my mother's house, it's me and my sister on the property. But the loophole was my sister had to live in the house 5 years, the last 5 years, in order for me to get the tax waiver that I knew I qualified for. And that was the loophole. And I brought that to the attention of the tax office. And you know what? I was able to get the tax reduction. So we've got to just don't give up. We've got to put people that we know that we can trust so that we won't have these problems with 5 or 6 or 7 people on the deed of the property.
Now I'm gonna tell you something else that has been on my mind. Like in Ghana, my family property. There's a YMCA down there on Main Street, right there. There's a YMCA in Ghana. That used to be my family. That was my family's property. The whole thing was my family. And there's a lady that lives there right now, and she said to me, she said, Crystal, her children just put her in a nursing home. I saw her about 3 months ago, and she said, Crystal, I bought this from your grandparents. She said, I got this land from your grandparents. She said, I'm the last person. She said, they keep trying to buy it from me, but I'm not going to sell it. I told her, I said, never do, please. So that whole block, I'm trying to literally get it adopted or name changed. But that whole block, I went down to register a deed. That whole thing was my family.
Oh, really?
That whole street was my grandparents. And because I'm not from here, I'm from the city, so I'm finding this out later. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm the baby boomer. Everybody else is older. And I'm like, wow. So I do want people to communicate with your children. Tell your children about the history of the family legacy.
Absolutely.
Tell them about the property. Tell them about what our family had. Don't let them go sell it. Tell them the importance so that they can keep it and pass it on to their children. You know what I mean? Because that's what people have to do.
And we must do that, Crystal. And the young people need to understand you can't buy land anymore. Because if you sell property in the city limits here, you can't afford to go anywhere else because everything is just so sky high and taxes are continually going up. But we're going to make sure that we continue to address this tax issue because it's important and it's advocating for the community that really needs it.
Now you see what Kimberly, what is her name? The young lady that her
Kimberly McGee.
Kimberly?
Yeah.
Okay, so Miss Kimberly said folks think $50,000 to $60,000 is money, and it may seem like a lot, but buyers get millions from it, and that's so true. Exactly they will offer something, and people will not understand the value. People don't even go check the value. They don't know how to see what the neighborhood is doing. If the neighborhood is growing, they don't understand that stuff. So I thank you for bringing that up. Oh my God, this is so good. So listen, Anthony, you are doing amazing work. You are helping in so many different ways. I want to say thank you so much. And this young lady said thank you so much for uniting everyone. She said, great job, Pope. Keep united. And so thank you. And I know you're thankful for your team.
I am. You know what?
Is there a meeting set, a date that we could tell the people about now? Is there a meeting set for the next meeting coming up in January?
Yes, for the men of Southeast Raleigh, we meet the first Sunday of every month. So we're going to be meeting on January the 4th, and we're probably going to be meeting at Chavis Heights Community Center. Our meetings are at 3:30. It's usually on a Sunday. So the first Sunday of the month. So please come and join us. And we would love for you to be a part of what we're doing and to continue to support our community and advocate. And for the men of Southeast Raleigh, it's not even about me. This organization would not work without these men and the support and them going out of the community. And we don't solicit funds. We're self-supporting. These men, they come in and we give donations to support what we do in the community. And that in itself, speaks volumes, because if you're not willing to put money into what you believe in, then that means you're not really into it. These guys give their donations. They don't have to. But this is how we have been sustaining ourselves for the last 4 years, by donating, whatever we want to whatever we've got going on in the community. So thank you guys. I really appreciate this.
You want them to visit the website for more information? Is the dates on the website?
Yes, we will have them put on there. We kind of update our website as we go along. We have an IT person, and he takes care of making sure everything is kept up and updated on the website. So he will put that out there before the meeting comes up in January.
And say the website again. Is it the Men of Southeast Raleigh?
The Men of SoutheastRaleigh.com. All right. Okay. Even if you go to Men of Southeast Raleigh, it's still going to come up, and it takes you directly to the website.
All right, because I wanted to put that on there so I can put it out there for people, so I have it there so they can see it. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Tap and make sure you go to the website. Anthony,
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for sharing. Is there anything that I did not ask you that you would like to share that you want people to know in regards to you, what you do, what you stand for? I mean, when you stop doing all this, what do you want your legacy to be? When Anthony decides that he just wants to travel and he don't want to do anything else, what do you want the people to say about it?
You know what? I want people to say that, you know what, this organization stood up for our community. They did not allow our communities to just be pushed aside and act like we never lived here. One of the main things that we're doing is we're trying to get a succession plan. And so we're trying to bring in younger men that are going to be continuing this, the Men of Southeast Raleigh Next Generation, because we don't want all the work that we've done over the last 4 years to be kind of just swept under the carpet. So young men, please come and join us. 30s, 40s, 50s, come and join us, because we need a succession plan to make sure that the work that we've done continues on long after we're gone. That is the legacy we want to leave here in Southeast Raleigh.
Yeah.
And so join us.
It's so important. It really is. And you know what? It's heartwarming. True story for me, like Roger Perry's a part of Kabbalah, right?
Yes.
So when he posted Kabbalah, my dad was the past potentate with Chuck Hunter. And then my grandfather was the founder for Kabbalah.
Oh, really?
My grandfather was from Raleigh. Yeah. My grandfather was from, I tell you, they're from here. My grandmother had the first black bakery downtown Raleigh.
Wow.
And so when I see Roderick post pictures with Kabbalah when they're out there, it makes me smile. So when you say to the young men, come join them, because we got to keep it going. Because for the mothers and the sisters and the children, it makes them smile. Anthony's children will smile. They can say, my dad started that. My dad started that. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to, and bring them along. Maybe some of your men, this is a suggestion, they could bring their sons or their brothers. Like you can have an event where they bring them. And maybe once they see, they'll be like, you know what, I do want to be a part of this. Yeah.
And that's what we do. We encourage to bring nephews and cousins and sons, and, just bring any young person so they can see. And we've got a few young men in there now that are very actively involved. And we are hoping that they're going to take the torch and continue to do what we're doing. But we appreciate you so much, Crystal, for allow me this opportunity, not to necessarily share my story.
And I want to say thank you to all your family members who stuck it out with you that are here. Miss Kimberly.
Thank you, family.
Claudette is still here. Dennis Williams is still here. Barbara Walker is still here. Nadine is still here. Corey Lewis is still here. Hattie Richardson is still here. Frida.
Those are my peeps. Yeah.
Mamie Carlton is still here. Gloria Cherry is still here. Inez Thomas is still here. Rodney Ellis is still here. Connie Glenn, they here, man. They here. Yeah. So that's a testament to who you are. You understand what I'm saying?
Those are my people.
Share this. I'm going to post it. It will be available for replay again. You're watching Story Time with Shout Crystal. If you have a story, if you're watching this and you have a product, a service, or a mission, that is what I do as a Hope Catalyst. Is I provide a platform for you. My mission is to provide a platform for you. That is how I collaborate with people. You see what I'm saying? I'll put the production together. Let's get the word out about what you are doing so people can know what you're doing. That's how we work together. That's how we work together.
That's what we got to do.
So I'm going to give you an opportunity to make any closing remarks that you'd like to make. I want to say thank you again. Again, any closing remarks. Give your contact information, how people can reach you, if you want to give a phone number, an email, any special thank yous to anybody that helps you that you want to do. Now is the time. I'll allow you to do that at this time.
Yes. Thank you, family, first of all, for taking your time out this time of night on a Sunday evening to actually log in and actually observe this presentation. continue to support what we do in the community. More importantly, continue to support each other, continue to rally around things that are important in our community to us, and that we bond together to make sure that we're advocating not only for this generation now, but for the future generations to come. We appreciate you so very much. I love y'all, family, friends, everybody. Continue to just rally together and keep our communities at the forefront of everything for the next generation of young people. Crystal, thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your podcast. I appreciate it. And I thank you for what you do in the community to make sure that people that are doing other things in the community, that they have a platform where they can share. And we'll do some things together. I promise you in 2026. We'll come together.
I need the help. I need the manpower.
Yes.
I know I grabbed the New Gams.
Yes.
One of your brother, that's Tony Warren. He's
Tony Warren, yeah.
Because a couple of things, I didn't do it this year because of the car accident, a couple of things, but 2024, we fed families, we fed the elderly, we did Christmas, because I said to them, I said, listen, I need manpower.
Absolutely.
I said, God gives me vision. I'm a visionary, but sometimes I do things and I need help. But now I got Glory to Ladies. I have a couple of groups. So I love collaborating. So I'm excited about what's going to happen in 2026 with all the different organizations. So we're going to make a difference together.
Let's do that.
I am Crystal Bodie-Smith. If you haven't done it yet, please, please, please hit that subscribe button. It's somewhere on your page. You might see it left, right. You might see it somewhere. Hit the button, come back, and you might see some other stories. Go back. Roger Perry's story is here. Anthony Bogan's story is here. Pup Williams' story is here. Rick High's story is here. James Montague's story is here. I've done all these interviews. So if you know these people, but you really don't know them, check out their story, because you might find out. One last question for you, Anthony, as we get ready to go. Tell us something that even your family members and cousins here may not know. Tell us something people don't know about you.
Let me see. Well, it's definitely not that I'm shy, because that is definitely not it. What would that be? I think that the thing that probably that most people may never know about me or don't know about me is that I've had some struggles along the way, and I've made some mistakes along the way, that I took those struggles and those mistakes, and I used them as a platform to share with young people, young men, so that they would not make the same mistake that I made along the way. But thanks be to God that mistake was very instrumental in making sure that I never went down that same road again. And so here I stand today as a testimony that, we may fall, but we need to get up and keep moving forward. Don't go back.
Wow. There you have it, guys. On that note, you heard what he said. You can fall, don't go back. You've been watching Storytime. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My name is Crystal Bodie-Smith. I'm your Hope Catalyst. My mission is to stir up the gift, instill hope, and save lives. On that note, I'll say see you on the next Storytime. We're actually doing a holiday special on the 24th. If you sing, if you tell jokes or do something and you want to be a part of it, please join us. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you.
See y'all on the next Storytime. Hang out with us
family.
8 o'clock on Wednesdays and Sundays at 9 p.m. And we'll see you. Anthony, much, 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 much love, much respect to you, man.
Same to you, sister. Thank you so much. Bye, family. One love.
People. See y'all. See you on the
A catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey!